Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now as we've got 3-wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for circuit disqualifying Sean. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Oklahoma International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the penultimate round of the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. We're again the second to final round. It's Martinsville short track racing, and we're getting ready to crown a new champion. As always, I'm your host, James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Bring the action 1080p here on the YouTube side of things. Looking forward to being back in the booth, calling the action for these Titans and seeing what is going to happen. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device, and they definitely notice and appreciate the fans out there cheering them on. Looks like qualifying about to come to a close. The current points leader, Josh Robinson, out on track in that number 23 Ford Mustang. Right now, qualifying held by Dan Hill, the number 7. He clicked off a 19.51, so that is the time to beat here. So a big lockup there from Robinson. Is that on purpose to get heat in the tires? Or was that an early bobble for the 23? Looks like his time's going to be a 19.98, almost a full half second off the pace where he needs to be for pole. And Martinsville is a track where if you don't get the starting position you're looking for, you are in for an uphill battle. He barely makes it across the line in time, but it's going to be good enough for 5th for Robinson in the 23. We got Pac-Man CT joining us in the spectator area. Always great seeing him coming out, cheering on the hooligans at the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. And it looks like drivers are getting gridded up, so let's run through the starting order. On pole, Dan Hill, the number 7. Tom Ogle starting 2nd. Dakota Grandpa Pischke starting 3rd. Roger Hurley starting 4th. Josh Robinson starting 5th. Wayne Content Hufford starting 6th. I couldn't see there. Lee Warsdale starting 7th. Sean Foltz starting 8th. And we're going to touch on Foltz here in a moment. Brian Lynch starting 9th. Jack Yeagerman starting 10th. Andy Thomas starts 11th. Dustin Martinson starting 12th. Cycled on back to Mr. Chris Spade starting 13th. Robert Smooth Criminal Garisco starting 14th. Jerry was a race car driver. Isaac starting 15th. Victor Lane starting 16th. Michael Dow starting 17th. Tom and Massey starting 18th. Clay Walker starts 19th. Josh Thompson, starting 20th. And Gavin Adams will round out the 21-car grid here today. We've got 21 drivers, 175 laps, no fast repairs. We got Dustin Martinson here. Now let's see if I can grab a shot of Foltz. Foltz tipping the hat there to Sean, running a Team Goon Squad livery as his title sponsor on the side of the Chevrolet here tonight. So a major thank you to Mr. Sean Foltz going out and doing that on his own. Always appreciate our buddy, the media man here at the OBRL. We're lined up double file. That's Ogle and Hill in the front row. Hurley, Pischke, your second row. Hufford and Robinson, the third row. Getting ready for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road, and Well, we've got Dustin Martinson and Patrick CT in the chat. Let me know if the audio levels are good out there for the fans. Haven't been in the booth in a little while, so I want to make sure everything's still sounding good, looking good for the fans at home. Safety car comes down pit road. And we are green flag racing. Dan Hill's up front, Ogle in second. Pischke riding that inside line, trying to get a nose up the inside line of Ogle, not going to have any luck with it. Looks like Robinson was taking a peek there, has already grabbed one spot, and the number 23, Hurley in the 77. He's kind of stuck on the outside. That allows Wayne Hufford and maybe Lee Warsdale to get the inside line position. Martinsville, one of those tracks where it's just so incredibly tough to make passes if you're out on that outside line. And we're going to have an early caution coming out there as Gavin Adams finds himself, maybe high centered there. And yes, he's going to have to take a tow. So let's see, wind it back, see what happened to Adams in our first caution of the evening. Keep an eye out, the orange and black, number 30 of Adams. Might have cooked it in a little bit deep on the brakes there. Tagged aside the number 2, Clay Walker. That gets the car unsettled, and around he goes. Getting a little bit of stutter here in the booth. See if we can fix that. So first caution of the night, Josh Thompson was down pit road. Gavin Adams also still in pit road after having to take that tow. Adams is going to have to hope for some late race cautions to get back in the mix. Now, the good news is it's Martinsville. Surely there'll be cautions in some flavor or another. So let's get them gridded back up, double file. Still 20 or 21 entries out on track. Looks like Adams going to return to the racing circuit as well. Awesome. Pac-Man, let me know the audio sounds pretty good from his perspective. Safety car is in. Our first restart of the night. Hill's going to have the preferred line on the inside. Green flag is out. Away we go. Hill's going to guard that inside line. Here comes Pischke trying to make a quick move against Ogle. Ogle seems like he has good corner exit, though, so he's going to be able to guard that line. Josh Robinson now side by side with Pischke. Very tough to make an outside line work here at Martinsville. Hugging the inside, showing the way to go. The only good thing about running that mid to high line through the corners is the guy on the inside can't quite push out without running into you, and can cause that inside line to maybe chew up a little bit of tires. But Pischke's looking good here, holding on to third. He'll just set the fastest lap of the race, a 19.84. Well, let's go a little bit further back, see if we have any hard chargers. I see a couple here. 3 drivers, Robert Narisco in 11th, Clay Walker in 16th, Josh Robinson in 17th, have all gained 3 positions early on here this evening. Excuse me, that's Josh Thompson, the 101, our lone rookie driver out here tonight. Reminder to the fans, if you see a triple-digit driver, they are ineligible to qualify for these main events until they've earned the double digits. But somebody is going for a spin, and it's going to be a little bit of a pile-up. Dan Hill, Andy Thomas, Roger Hurley. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what Hill's going to do here. So let's cycle it back. I see Roger Hurley doing a 6-point turn. So that's Hill. Oh, and a little bit of incident there between Hill and Ogle. Now, where's Hurley coming to frame? Hurley was a secondary crash is what we're going to call that. Well, let's focus in on Hurley here, this 77. Seems like he got in the back of Brian Lynch, and then the hits just keep coming as everybody tries to check up in time and doesn't quite have the luck they were looking for. So second caution of the night, Jack Yeagerman, Roger Hurley, they're going to come down pit road. Dan Hill went from the top spot all the way back to 18th. That's tough when 2 team cars come together. Now, right now, your points leader in this penultimate round, Josh Robinson. But you've got 8 drivers in this final round of the playoffs. I'll get verification on that as well. Yes, 8 drivers in this final round to decide who the champion is going to be. It's Robinson, Moore, Foltz, Ogle, Lynch, Hufford, Hill, and McDaniel, the 8 drivers who still have a shot of it. So 2 cautions early on at Martinsville. A little bit of out of character for the OBRL drivers, but it is Martinsville. Safety car back down pit road. All 21 drivers still out on track. This time it's going to be Ogle and Pischke on the front row. And here we go, green flag racing once more. Ogle's going to guard the inside line, but look at that. There's Josh Robinson, had a 5th place qualifying, but has found his way back up into 2nd. Wayne Hufford making a jab up the inside line to Pischke as well. Moving that number 75 machine up into 3rd. Now I'm curious to see if we're going to get any green flag runs tonight, or if it's going to be a meat grinder at the YesterYear Racing Cup Series. Saw a little bit of a checkup about 6 or 7 cars back. That was Lee Warsdale going a little bit offline there. He's losing spots to Garisco, Lynch, and now Bates. And this is where the meat grinder usually comes into play for these drivers. People start to make a little bit of mistake, and if something happens here at Martinsville, even though the track is so small, they're still hitting speeds of 120 miles an hour, and there you go. Dustin Martinson involved in a hit, but no caution will come out. The field stacks up. They were worried there was going to be a yellow. Not the case. Let's see what happened to Martinson, the number 19 machine. Does he get some help, or does he overcook it on the brakes? Yeah, a little bit of both, I would imagine. A little bit of contact there with the rookie, Josh Thompson, the 101. But everybody keeps going. Now we'll keep an eye out. If Thompson thinks that was his fault in the 101, he will yield the position back to Martinson. And if he doesn't feel that it was his fault, he's going to keep hammering down here. Looks like Thompson keeps running a high line. I think he's trying to let Martinson by here, the number 19, so they can get back to their racing, and that is exactly what he does. So tip of the hat to the 101. Realize, even if that maybe wasn't his fault, he's going to err on the side of caution. As ahead of him, Victor Lane, Michael Dow, Dan Hill. It was looking like it was about to be a 3-wide situation there, which historically never ends well at Martinsville. Now let's go a little bit further back up front. Wayne Hupper sitting in third. As Dakota Pischke, Sean Foltz in very hot pursuit. Oval and Robinson had a little bit of a breakaway. They're about 6/10 up from the third place driver. There's Sean Foltz and the Team Goon Squad pack number 59 running well. He's up 3 positions. Has worked his way up into the top 5. Now I see some close action. There's Hill, Lane, and Roger Hurley trying to get some laps back here in the 77. So whenever I as a broadcaster see drivers kind of bunched up like that, generally, it's a safe assumption something cool might happen. Maybe not good, but definitely cool one way or the other. Here we go side by side. Andy Thomas, Michael Dow, Josh Thompson in the mix now. Thompson in deep with the inside line. Dow falls back to 18th. Now, it already looks like the lap time's falling off ever so slightly. Only 30 laps into this main event. I'm very curious if we get some green flag runs, and that's a very big if. How are we going to see tire wear become a factor? Chris Bates having a battle with Jerry Isaacs there, the number 51. And I also see Dan Hill trying to charge back forward. He is deep on the brakes. Look at the front rotors glowing for both Hill and Yeagerman there. Hard on the binders to get that car slowed down. Now, as a reminder to the fans, Hill qualified on pole, was involved in an incident with his teammate Tom Ogle. Put Hill at the very back of the field. He's already crawled up to 12. And speaking of Ogle, we pan the camera over to the number 11, your race leader. He's got lap traffic ahead of him there. Is that maybe Tom Amassi, the 62? I think it is. Amassi going to go to the high side, the all-white Chevrolet. Next driver that might be going down a lap, I think, would be Michael Dow, number 60. And that is a testament to just how dialed Ogle is here at Martinsville. Running well, 3/4 of a second up over the points leader, Josh Robinson. So we've clicked off 37 laps. We had 2 cautions early on here tonight. Tonight's race scheduled to run just at 1 hour. If we went green to checkers, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out, how many more cautions we may get this evening. Paying back a little bit, Jerry Isaacs linked up behind Chris Bates is number 81. Isaacs up 6 spots, Bates is up 5. Looks like hard charger though is going to be Clay Walker at number 2. He's up 9 positions so far in the Ford Mustang. And something I didn't get the inside scoop on before today's race is we're not quite sure what the fuel window is going to be for these drivers. I don't think in all my years of broadcasting, and I have done a bunch of them. I don't remember how many hundreds of broadcasts it's been, but I don't recall a time where I've ever seen green flag pit stops at Martinsville. So if we could somehow appease the racing gods and have that opportunity tonight, that would be quite the treat for all the fans out there. Bates and Isaac staying linked up 1/4 of a second apart. They're about 1.3 seconds back from Brian Lynch's number 9 machine, who holds on to the 7th place position. And meanwhile, up front, Ogle has lost a little bit of time to Robinson. Maybe lap traffic playing a factor. They've lapped up to about 16th place so far. Let's see if we can get a good wide angle shot here of Robinson. Kind of in the center of your screen. You see drivers ahead, drivers behind, but it's a mixture of lead lap and lap down traffic here. Second, third, and fourth fairly bunched up. Robinson, Hufford, Pischke just hoping for a little mistake, a little bit of a bobble from the driver ahead of them. And it's going to be tough to navigate lap traffic when you're in a battle of your own. Now, the track here in Martinsville, the draft doesn't really play that much of a factor with how tight it is. So even if you catch up to the driver a lap down, you're not going to gain a whole lot using the air off of them. But there's Ogle lapping through the field. That was Andy Thomas, number 12, going a lap down. Ogle slicing and dicing through traffic here. That's Martinson hopping out of the way. Now the lap traffic in the OBRL does a great job realizing, hey, the leader's behind me. Let me get off my preferred line for just a corner or two. and let these guys by so they can keep clicking off laps. Ogle last time by at 20.54. About 3/4 of a second off his fastest laps of the race. That's interesting as well. You know, while these drivers are getting lapped, Martinsville and Thomas having a battle for 15th. They're trying to hop out of the way of the lead lap cars while also not losing too much time here, so they can keep their own battle for position going on. A lot of moving pieces at a track such as Martinsville. And again, if we can somehow get a green flag pit cycle at this short track, the entertainment value is going to be through the roof for the fans at home. Pischke looks like he's trying to get around Hubbard, but just can't quite find the opportunity he's looking for. I saw him close that gap briefly within 1/10 of a second, but just no good where to put the nose to that number 4. Now, once we start lap 88, that's going to mark the halfway mark of today's main event. Looks like Warsdale had a little bit of a bobble. That's going to allow Hill to crawl back to 11th. Again, Hill, quite the uphill battle here tonight, but doing a good job staying in it. And that's the thing about short track racing. Anything can happen as long as you keep in it, try and stay on the lead lap. Hufford and Pischke. Oh, did I see a puff of smoke there from Hufford? I wonder if he's getting hard on the brakes. Now, over the course of the run at a track such as Martinsville, historically I've seen drivers slowly adjust the brake balance towards the back of the car to help with rotation as the tire wear really starts to ramp up a little bit. So I'm going to be curious to see if that's going to be the same case for the drivers here tonight. And then later in the run, you start making those changes. That's where things can get a little bit interesting with both the car and how it handles. As I see a battle going on there, Jerry Isaacs working way around. That's lap driver Josh Thompson. Dan Hill right behind, trying to get a piece of it. Ogle, your race leader, has over a second gap at this point. Thompson doing a good job staying on the high side. There's Walker and Warsdale right behind, trying to get around the lap 101 machine of Thompson. You've also got, I think that's going to be Bates, Isaacs, Hill, starting to link up here a little bit, nose to tail. Hill hungry to get back up front. That number 7, he's tucked in behind Isaacs here. But we're 62 laps in, and everybody's on their original sets of tires. How much more go do these machines have? Lap times universally across the board about 3/4 of a second slower than their early laps here during the race. And if there is going to be an incident as we get closer to the halfway mark, generally it's going to be amongst these three, possibly battling for position. It just takes a tiny lapse in judgment to make a mistake, and then things can rapidly compound here. So the vortex of danger is strong amongst these three. There's also a battle going on with Andy Thomas, Dustin Martinson, 15th and 16th. I saw that time delta getting rapidly shrunk between those two drivers, battling for the 15th place position. Lee Warsdale, the 99, he's going to come down pit road in his Mustang. The first driver down pit road that was not under caution here tonight. Not sure if that was a necessity or if Warsdale had something going on there in the 99 machine. Hill trying everything he can to get around Isaacs, not having any luck with it. Your race leader Ogle still a second and a half now up over his teammate Robinson. Robinson has about a second on Hufford. And lap traffic every which way you look here at Martinsville. It doesn't take any time for the field to get separated and start intermingling a little bit. They're starting to get bounced around a little bit. Chris Bates finds himself on the outside line of Hill. So he's going to lose 2 spots here, falling back to the 10th place position. Still at top 10, running not too bad. Now, it's interesting, Lee Warsdale did get back out on track, but he was in his pit stall for 55 seconds. That is quite the long time. So it looks like Hill and Isaacs have broken away about 1 second up over Chris Bates. We've only seen one driver come down pit road. And, as the field starts to come through lap traffic, you notice things kind of bunching up. Briscoe, Lynch, Isaacs now separated by about a quarter of a second front to back. Dan Hill on that redemption arc, he's sitting ninth as Isaacs barrels in along the inside line of Lynch. Lynch goes high. Can Dan Hill maybe do something with this as well as he tries to fight back up towards the front? Roger Hurley is going to come down pit road, the number 77 Toyota, for a green flag stop. Roger Hurley actually took a tow in the 77, so I'm not sure if something's maybe wrong there with him. As Hill almost gets into the back of Lynch. Lynch and Garisco side by side here. The battle for 7th. The front rotors are glowing. Hill looking for an opportunity here to slide up the inside line. Can't quite get up next to number 28 of Garisco. Oh, and there we go. Hill deep on the brakes. Garisco off the preferred line, so there goes Lynch and Hill working together, getting around the 28 of Garisco. Josh Thompson, he's down pit road as well. I think Thompson, though, might have put the car behind the wall. I think the 101 is going to be done this evening as we are officially at the halfway mark of today's main event. So let's see. We have whittled it down to 19 of our 21 entries out here tonight. Ogle still your race leader, the White Claw back number 11. Is up one spot from where he originally qualified. And he's made so there's only 11 drivers on the lead lap. Looks like I think that might be maybe Jaegerman getting ready to go down a lap. It's tough to tell there. There's Lane going up to the high side. No, that's going to be the number 19, I believe. So Martinsville will go down another lap to race leader Tom Ogle. Still 11 drivers on the lead lap here. Now, I'm curious as well. We talked about, I don't know how long the drivers can go before they absolutely need to pit for fuel. But the other question is, you know, if we do go green, we're not going to go green. There's going to be a crash out on track as I say that. No caution somehow miraculously showed Michael Dow and Victor Lane tied up in that one. Both drivers slow back on the track. Let's see what happened there. It's going to involve the number 60 of Dow, the number 10 of Lane. Oh, Dow just overcooks it on the brakes. You know, I didn't see Lane involved in that one. So is that a separate incident? The number 10 was in? I thought they were going to be tied up together. So now let's check in on Lane and see what happened to number 10. But I think Lane was just taking evasive maneuvers hard on the brakes. Again, expecting a caution that it did not come, but somehow we're going to keep that thing clean and green rolling forward here. Robert Garisco down pit road, the number 28 Ford Mustang. 74 laps left to go here tonight. Showing 10 drivers on the lead lap as it stands. Ogle a 1.2 second gap over his teammate Robinson. But Ogle needs both the win and he needs Robinson to have some bad luck here at Martinsville if he wants to try and steal the championship away from the number 23 machine. Wayne Huffer, the number 75, he's down pit road for a green flag stop. So how long will race leader Tom Ogle stay out for if drivers are looking short on fuel? I would imagine the answer is going to be until the very last second. The last thing Ogle would want to do here is come down pit road and then be trapped with a caution, because track position is king here at Martinsville. So Ogle still slicing through the field here. Ogle, I think that's going to be Lane going to the high side. Yes, it is Lane going another lap down here. .65 laps left to go. How long can Ogle go in the tank here? So that's going to be Hufford going down to lap number 75. I believe Clay Walker is going to be in the lucky dog position here. I saw somebody else. That's going to be Chris Bates, number 81 Toyota. He's down pit road. Now, man, I'm very surprised to see how long these guys are staying out for. Oh, and somebody spinning in the back. That was Dan Hill. There's going to be another caution coming out. And this, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is where you're going to see if anybody's short on fuel, this is where everybody's going to come down pit road. We're focused in on Hill, the number 7. Is it a solo incident? Does he have some help? And yeah, Hill, I think, moved the brake bias back just a little bit too far. And it is going to be a solo spin for the number 7. Ogle's down pit road. Grandpa Pischke is as well. So after this one, everybody's going to be more than well to go till the end on fuel. So let's see how many people get the wave around as we're under our 3rd caution of the evening. Safety car is in. It's going to be our third restart of the evening. I'm showing 9 drivers on the lead lap here. Still have 19 of our 21 entries out on track. Green flag is out, and we are back underway here in Martinsville for the YesterYear Racing OBRL Cup Series. Now, cautions breed cautions. Who forgot to reset the brake bias? Maybe Robert Garisco, who showed involved in an incident. Dan Hill. Oh, Dan Hill has taken a tow. He has done it out of this one. So it started with Garisco. Let's see what happened to number 28. So Hill and Garisco made contact. And then Hill just decided to come down pit road and sign off for the evening, it looked like. So a bummer for Hill, but Tom Ogle, your race leader, has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 19.59, putting those fresh tires to use here. He's quickly put a 1-second gap over his teammate, current points leader Josh Robinson. And we're going to have another caution coming out here. And this time it looks like Clay Walker and number 2 machine is going to be bringing out the yellow. So just lost the back end. Little bit of a bump there against the inside wall safety barrier, then takes a tow back to pit road, maybe trying to avoid the caution, but no such luck. Poor Ogle wants to break away from the field here. Can't quite get there. And we are under our 4th caution evening. But hey, we said cautions breed cautions. So we're going to get them gridded back up, double file here at Martinsville. So let's try this again, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ogle Robinson on the front row. Isaacs, Pischke, your second row. Fultz and Lynch, your third row. Still 18 drivers out on track. Mark Fish joining us saying this is Ogle's house, and so far, I'd say Fish is spot on here tonight. But every time we stack the field back up, surely Ogle gets a little bit nervous. There's going to be a contender that can get right there in the mix with him. Maybe it'll be in the form of Jerry Isaacs in the 51, who is pressuring the inside line against Robinson for second. Sean Foltz sitting in that beautiful TJS back number 59 in the fourth place spot. I know Foltz would like nothing more than a podium here in the second to final round of the season. There's Isaacs, has cleared himself for second. Isaacs, our hard charger, up 13 spots. I would dare say if anybody's got a chance of taking down the Ogle reign here at Martinsville, it could be the number 51 of Mr. Isaacs. $40 laps left to go here at Martinsville. But Ogle answers with once again the fastest lap of the race out of that number 11 out of the field, a 19.54, but that's not to detract from Isaacs, who clicked off a 19.58 that same lap. Ogle hold on to about a half-second advantage over Isaacs. Isaacs has about a half-second on Robinson. But if you go back to fourth-place driver Sean Foltz, that's a lot going on there. Foltz has Pischke, Lynch, Jaegerman tucked in nose to tail right behind. Foltz trying to fend off Pischke. Pischke fighting for the inside line here. Right behind them, Lynch and Jaegerman going at it as well. Ogle still holding on to a half-second advantage over Isaacs. But the top three have quickly pulled about a 2.5-second gap over the rest of the field. Oh, what's going to happen here? Pischke's made his way up into fourth, Foltz back to fifth. Whenever you get little clusters of drivers on track like this, it can get pretty exciting pretty quickly. And there's going to be another caution to interrupt the flow of the race. Gavin Adams finds himself pointing the wrong direction. Did he maybe just lose it on the throttle here, I wonder? And that looks like it was happening. He got a little bit of a helping hand from Clay Walker. And Adams did take a tow back to pit road. But unfortunately, his night may be over here. Wayne Hufford, Andy Thomas took this opportunity to come down pit road. So we get him gridded back up what may be for the final time here. Keep an eye out on Isaac starting up on the high side. The red-black number 51. He's going against Mr. Martinsville himself, Tom Ogle, on the inside line, the number 11. The odds-on favorite to do well here tonight. Safety car is in. Green flag is out, and away we go. Ogle wants to try and push Isaacs up to the high side. Isaacs going to try and hammer down here. Keep the number 11 on his inside. His only hope is he can pinch Ogle a little bit. Side by side, narrowly avoiding contact between the two. Here comes Robinson, the number 23 machine, sitting in third. Wants a piece of the action up front. Isaacs, though, I don't think afraid to use the old chrome horn if that's what's going to take to dethrone Ogle. The field already getting a little bit scattered out, and these top drivers absolutely hammering the throttle. Isaacs does not want Ogle to get a breakaway. And we've got a caution, and we're going to have a few people tied up in that one, I think. So let's get the review committee on board here. First driver I saw involved in something might have been Martinson, the number 19. Definitely not Martinson. That was the number 12 I saw sideways there. So let's cycle this back a little bit slower with the camera focusing on Andy Thomas, the number 12 Toyota. Oh, it started above that, I'm afraid, too. It's 27 of Jack Yeagerman. Something was wild happening there. I didn't see any contact, so it looked like Yeagerman just got a little bit loose. The field tries to avoid it. Thomas tried to avoid it, and the car just snapped loose, and it seemed like Jack Yeagerman spent the entire stretch trying to crash, and just never quite happened. So with 24 laps left to go, our sixth caution of the evening. Barney, our flagman, his arm is getting tired at this point. Jack Yeagerman still on pit road. I still show 17 drivers out on track, though. Green flag is out, 20 laps left to go. Isaacs and Ogle continue to put on a show up front. Robinson guarding the inside line against Pischke, sitting in fourth. The field stacking up slightly behind. Robinson muscles in deep to the inside line, trying to give his teammate Ogle a little bit of reprieve from Isaacs to 51. But I almost wonder, where's the preferred line here if we get another caution? So now it's Ogle, Robinson, Isaacs, your top three. Ogle just put another fastest lap of the race, a 19.42 out of that number 11 machine. Does Isaacs have any tires left to make a big lunge, I wonder? Or is he going to try and settle for the third place spot? On board with Isaacs, number 51, our hard charger. He's up 12 positions thus far tonight. Has worked his way up into third. But Isaacs also has Pischke right behind as well, looking for a podium. So even though there's 16 laps left to go, there's not going to be any breaks for these drivers, I don't think. And there's going to be another caution here. Andy Thomas, Lane, and Worsdale tied up in that one somehow. So let's focus it in on Thomas, number 12. See what happened here. Just loses the back end right behind Martinsville. Comes back up into track, and it's going to be close. Not close enough. Big contact. Man, Lane just drilled the side of the number 12 machine. So was Worsdale the other driver? No, Worsdale just checked up there to avoid incident. But man, what a hard hit for Victor Lane this late in the race. But I think that may have been Bates that was tied up in that because he's coming down pit road. So you've got Thomas, Lane, Bates all came down pit road together after that one. 9 laps left to go. Are we going to make it, ladies and gentlemen? We are on our 7th caution of the evening. Safety car is down pit road. Ogle's going to keep guarding the inside line. Isaac's deep on the brakes. Robinson trying the long way around. Going to be side by side with Isaacs here. That can put Isaacs in the preferred position to try and lock up second and maybe challenge Ogle. Things are getting tight. I just saw Brian Lynch throwing in deep against Pischke there. And the battle for fourth still side by side for both the battle for second and the battle for fourth. Isaacs has worked his way up into second. Looks like Lynch is going to work his way up into fourth, but no, it's going to be contact from behind. And a big hit there. Lynch and Pischke came together, and we knew it was going to be a rough one. So let's get this replay queued up here. We're focusing in. Looks like Pischke went for a high-low maneuver. Just came in a little bit too hot, and he actually got into Lynch. Lynch luckily avoided the pit lane wall there, and they come to a stop nose to nose, both rethinking their life choices on what has led them here. This might be an OBRL record, as we are on our 8th caution of the night. 5 laps left to go. I believe this is going to put us into green-white checker conditions here. Martinsville letting us know it was rough. Fish letting us know it is rough to watch. I'm having a great time in the booth. What a night. So I believe this puts us in a green-white checker conditions, I'm thinking. All right. What happens now? Safety cars down pit road. I think for better or worse, this is going to be the final restart of the night. It's Ogle versus Isaacs on the front row. Robinson, Garisco, your second row. Bates and Foltz, your third row. We'll go ahead and mention the fourth row, Pischke and Thomas, because that's all the drivers that are left on the lead lap here. Ogle down the inside line. This is it. If we have a caution, we'll end this thing under a yellow flag. Ogle, a great launch up front. Isaacs dives to the inside line, trying to psych out Ogle. No such luck. Ogle is a pro when it comes to Martinsville shenanigans. Garisco tags the outside wall. How did Garisco end up in fourth? These are the questions. White flag is out here in Martinsville. Down the backstretch for the final time. Ogle, Isaacs, Robinson, 1, 2, 3. Ogle stays consistent through 3 and 4. And Tom Ogle picks up the win here at Martinsville. Jerry Isaacs second. And Josh Robinson riding out the top 3. Tip of the hat, Robert Garisco up 10 spots. He's finishing fourth tonight, and Sean Fultz in the TGS back number 59 rounds out the top 5. We're going to work on getting our top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. As Tom Ogle going to burn it down in style here tonight. As we work on getting these top 3 drivers up here into the booth. So waiting on Josh Robinson. He's going to be our first victim and interviewee. All right, we are waiting for Mr. Josh Robinson, Mr. Jerry Isaacs, and Mr. Tom Ogle to make their way up to the waiting room. Got Wayne Hufford joining us in the spectator area. Always good seeing him. So we're waiting on our top 3. All right, we've got Ogle. We're waiting on Robinson and Isaacs now. And then we can get the party started. Maybe. Possibly. There's a chance. All right, the gang's all here, so let's get things started. First off, with number 23 of Josh Robinson. Josh, we had an uncharacteristic green flag run here tonight at Martinsville that was quickly forgotten about. Walk us through your perspective in that number 23 machine, watching the carnage behind you.
Yeah, well, that's a good definition of what it was. Cautions breed cautions, and guys started getting just a little too aggressive there at the end.
Now, Josh, back in my day in iRacing, we would frequently adjust the brake-by balance, I should say, towards the back of the car. Is that still the case with the next-gen Cup cars over the course of a run?
Nope. Yeah, I was actually, I try to always going into a race, put my brake bias kind of in the middle. That way, if I need to go down or go, put it more at the rear, put it more at the front, I have as much flexibility as possible. So started tonight with about a 43. Early in a run, I would probably bump it up to about 44, 45. But then real late when we had that really long green flag run, I was down to probably about 40 flat.
Well, it looked like a bunch of fun when you guys could make some laps out here from my perspective. Josh, super cool having you back up in the booth at top 3. A great night all the way around. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen for you in that 23 machine?
I just want to thank all my teammates, bouncing some ideas off of each other. A couple of them had some pretty bad luck. And then shout out to Jerry for a really good second place run. He started towards the back of the field tonight. And then congrats to Tom on the win. He was the class of the field tonight.
Awesome, Josh. Always a pleasure, and hopefully we'll have you up here at the season finale next week.
Thanks, James. See you later.
Yes, sir. That was Josh Robinson bringing it home in the third place spot. Up next, we've got hard charger and second place finisher Jerry Isaacs. Jerry, it looked like you were working way too hard for a second there. I mean, just couldn't quite get that track position you were looking for to bump Ogle out of the way.
Yeah, he's just obviously there's a reason he's up front. He's a good driver, and I just couldn't find a way around him. Tried to hold him down, whenever I was in second, and hold him down, and he still was able to get a good launch out of the corners, and couldn't do it that way. So tried it from third behind him, and I could push him, but just couldn't get past him.
It seemed like a lot of fun. Now, Jerry, with those cautions, did that kind of give you more opportunity to take a shot at it, or was the track condition just so rough starting in that lane that you couldn't do anything with it regardless?
Well, when we got to the halfway mark, I wish there had not been any cautions. I was actually good on fuel. Talking to Josh and Tom, I think they both would have had to pit. I did not need to pit, so I was going to run the rest of the race without pitting. So I wish there weren't cautions, but then at the end, yeah, I think it was the cautions that I could pick off a place here or there, and at least up to second. Getting from second to first is completely different, though.
Well, hey, still up 13 spots from where you qualify. That is quite the charge for it, Jerry. It's a lot of fun to watch from our point of view, and I know you got ample opportunity to take shots with the large amount of cautions tonight, but still great race all the way around. And before I let you go and unwind, my friend, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make second place possible for you?
Oh, as always, you guys out of Goon Squad, great broadcast, love it. My mom loves watching. I want to thank YesterYear for sponsoring the OBRL. Really enjoyed this league, and the Mad Spartan guys, Cody Richardson, for crew chiefing and spotting for me tonight and getting me up towards the front. It was his strategy calls and direction that got me there. So, last but not least, hi, Mom.
Jerry, always a pleasure, buddy. Hopefully we'll have you up here next week in the season finale. A lot of fun watching you drive.
Thanks, man. Good talking to you.
You as well, sir. That was Jerry Isaacs bringing it home, and the second place spot. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Ogle. Welcome back to the top spot. Seemed like, man, every time you were trying to get a good breakaway, the field says, no, let's not make it easy. Let's stack it back up.
Yeah, those restarts were, they're always tense, and then you just don't know if somebody's going to dive bomb you going in or you're going to have problems going in. But everybody raced really clean. It's not so bad in this league. Everybody's clean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the incidents tonight, they weren't malicious. It was just drivers doing driver things. And you're right. If this was outside the OBRL, you would have absolutely been punted into turn one or turn three for an opportunity. I would have absolutely cleaned you out for a chance at fifth. So to see the reserve
15,
from Isaacs on that
70.
was pretty impressive. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I could, once we got 2 or 3 laps going, I could run some pretty good lap times. And I was worried there at the end because Wayne pitted and got tires, and he came out in 7th, but I actually ran my fastest lap of the race on probably 20 lap tires. So, and the tires were 97 and 96 when we pitted there at the end. So I knew tires weren't going to matter as much as they should.
Yeah, from what I saw, you ran a full 10th faster on that fastest lap you said on those 20 lap old tires. Got down to a 19.42, and like you said, once it looked like you were in a groove, you were rocking and rolling, and the restarts kind of added a little bit of extra challenge for you. But
Yeah.
also, Tom, it looked like lap traffic was relatively great here tonight. Even the guys that were in their own battles saw the number 11 looming behind and tried to hop out of the way when they could.
Guys in this league are really courteous. I feel bad. Dan and I got together there early. I thought he knew I was down there. And it looked like it might have been net code, but that's an excuse. But I felt bad that we got together there real early in the race, but he kind of got loose off too. And it's so hard to pass. It's brutal to pass there. So I had to take advantage of it. I feel bad that I spun him.
Well, if you're ever going to take somebody out, at least it's a teammate, right?
Right. Well, he was. He didn't speak to me after that at all. He never said anything in chat, so I don't know.
Oh, gotcha. We'll send him a $5 bill and we'll pick up another TGS car next season. But hey, things are coming down the wire. We're at Phoenix next week to cap off the season. What's the thoughts? What the predictions heading into that final round?
Well, it goes on total points. We don't do a last race, one shot, one deal. And the last 2 weeks have just, I've shot myself in the foot. I've dropped my shed on my foot the last 2 weeks.
I get this joke.
So I spun out leaving the pits last week running second. I wrecked at Vegas running second and spun myself out. So it's been a couple weeks while you've been gone.
Well, it's a shame I missed all the excitement, but hopefully you'll be able to deliver some more next week at Phoenix. But hey, my friend, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night from the top spot in the podium. Who do you want to give a shout-out to that helped bring it home at Martinsville for you in the number 11?
My teammates, Brian Lynch and Josh and Dan, and all the guys that put the league on. Victor puts a ton of work in it. Josh, Dakota, just all those guys that put work into the league. Until you see how much time it takes, you really can't appreciate it. And of course, you for coming back to broadcast it for us again. It's always good to have you in here.
Well, hey, couldn't do it without you guys making it happen out on track. Tom, always a pleasure, buddy, and hopefully I'll be talking to you next week as well.
Good luck with your motorcycle there, too.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Have a great night.
You too, bud.
Yep.
That was Tom Ogle bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Mr. Jerry Isaacs, as well as Josh Robinson, right out the top three. On behalf of the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at the season finale. Have a great night, everybody.